I never imagined my quiet front yard would turn into a war zone. But there I was, standing on my porch, watching a crowd of neighbors gather with plates and Tupperware, their faces lit up with anticipation for what they thought was a free gourmet buffet. The air buzzed with excitement, kids running around, adults chatting, all expecting a feast. I felt a strange mix of nerves and satisfaction as I prepared to unveil my plan. When I lifted the lids off the serving trays, chaos erupted. Gasps turned to gags, and people scrambled backward, hands clamped over their noses. Kids wailed, adults choked, and that stench hit like a tidal wave. At the heart of it all stood Linda Harper, our HOA president, her perfectly styled auburn hair trembling as her face twisted from confusion to horror to pure fury. "What saw that smell?" she shrieked, her pearl earrings glinting as she recoiled. "This is outrageous." I smiled, calm as could be, and held out a plate. "Just serving what was promised, Linda. A gourmet buffet. Let me take you back to how this all started. I'm a private guy. Always have been. My little 3-bedroom house in Willow Creek is my haven. I keep my lawn neat, my garden thriving, and I pay my HOA dues on time. I'm not here to cause trouble, just to live my life." But 2 years ago, when I moved in, Linda Harper decided my low-key VYB was a personal insult. She's the kind of woman who rules the neighborhood like it's her kingdom, cruising around in her silver BMW, clipboard in hand, ready to write up anyone whose mailbox isn't regulation height. Her smile was all sugar, but her voice had a bite that could cut glass. It all kicked off last month when Linda showed up at my door. No hello, just straight to business. "We need a host for the annual neighborhood barbecue," she said, like it was my life's calling. "Your yard's perfect. The board's chosen you." I explained I was swamped with work and couldn't host 50-plus people. "Maybe next year," I offered, keeping it polite. Her lips twitched into a tight smile. "This isn't optional, Tom. It's your SAW community duty SAW." I held firm, citing the HOA bylaws I'd read cover to cover nothing about mandatory hosting. Her eyes narrowed to slits. "You'll regret this," she hissed before storming off. I thought that was the end of it. I was dead wrong. 3 days later, I came home to find cars parked up and down my street, some even on my grass. Strangers I barely knew were marching up my driveway with empty plates. A mom with 2 kids asked where to set up the kids' table. I was dumbfounded. "What's going on?" I asked. She handed me a glossy flyer. "Free gourmet buffet at 1427 Oak Lane. Everyone welcome. Bring containers for leftovers. Saturday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. My stomach dropped. Across the street, Linda watched from behind her oversized sunglasses, smirking like she'd won a chess match. When our eyes met, she gave a little wave before peeling out in her BMW. The message was clear: mess with me, and I'll make your life hell. For the next hour, I apologized to confused neighbors, explaining there'd been a mix-up. Most were cool about it, though some grumbled about false advertising. One older guy, Mr. Peterson, looked heartbroken over missing his Swedish meatballs. That's when the idea hit me, a wicked, brilliant idea. The next week, I got to work. I designed my own flyers, sleek and professional. Authentic Swedish buffet at 1427 Oak Lane, courtesy of HOA President Linda Harper. Saturday, 4 p.m. Bring your appetite for Nordic delicacies. I made sure one landed in Linda's mailbox. Then I drove 2 hours to an international market and bought every can of Surströmming they had. If you don't know, Surströmming is fermented Swedish herring, infamous for smelling like death itself. It's so bad, sailors can't open it on submarines. It's practically a weapon. Come Saturday, I transformed my yard into a proper event space. Crisp white tablecloths, polished serving dishes, even little Swedish flags for flair. Linda drove by twice, slowing down to scope out my setup. By 3:30, she was posting on the neighborhood app, gushing about my community spirit and taking credit for inspiring me. The crowd wasn't as big as the week before, but it was plenty 30 or so neighbors, curious and hungry. Linda showed up fashionably late, strutting in a navy dress that screamed money, working the crowd like she was running for mayor. At exactly 4 p.m., I stepped forward, welcomed everyone, and announced the main course. With a flourish, I cracked open the first can of Surströmming. The smell hit like a bomb. It was rotten eggs, dead fish, and something so violent defied description. People staggered back, hands over faces. Kids screamed. One guy retched in my roses. What saw that? Linda shrieked, her face twisting in disgust. What are you doing? I kept my cool. Ser ing Surströmming, Linda. Authentic Swedish delicacy, just like the flyer you promoted. As I opened another can, the crowd scattered, some sprinting to their cars, others just backing down the street. But Linda wasn't running. Her face was beet red as she stormed toward me, finger jabbing the air. You did this on purpose, she yelled. This is a health code violation, a public nuisance. I stayed calm. I'm just hosting the buffet you advertised last week without my consent. Her eyes bulged. That was different. That was about community. And this, I said, is about authentic Swedish cuisine. Then things took a wild turn. Linda grabbed an open can of Surströmming, shouting, I'm ending this now. In her fury, she shoved past Mr. Callahan, a retired cop who lives a few houses down. The push sent the 70-year-old stumbling. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My doorbell camera caught it all, and so did half a dozen smartphones. Mr. Callahan steadied himself and fixed Linda with a look that could stop traffic. Ma'am, you just assaulted me, he said, calm but firm. Linda paled for a split second before doubling down. Don't be ridiculous. I barely touched you. He saw the problem. She pointed at me. He's committing food terrorism. While Linda ranted, Mr. Callahan quietly called the police. 15 minutes later, 2 cruisers pulled up. Linda was pacing my driveway, threatening to have me kicked out of the neighborhood. The officers, one young, one seasoned, talked to Mr. Callahan, then me, then Linda, whose voice hit a pitch that could shatter glass. When they asked about the flyer she'd spread, she played dumb. Bad move. 3 neighbors pulled out copies they'd saved. The older officer's face hardened. Ma'am, we're looking at harassment, trespassing, and now assault. You need to come with us. Linda's jaw dropped. Do you know who I am? I'm the Willow Creek HOA president. The officer wasn't impressed. Hands behind your back, ma'am. As they cuffed her, Linda's composure cracked shock, then rage, then fear. The crowd watched, stunned, as she was led to the cruiser. The fallout was swift. The judge slapped Linda with a due-lot $3,500 fine for harassment, plus community service. The HOA board, mortified, voted her out as president. Her fancy real estate job? They put her on unpaid leave for conduct unbecoming. When the verdict came down, Linda's perfect facade shattered. This is a mistake, she whispered, tears streaking her makeup. I was just trying to build community. But her kingdom was gone, and I had my peace back. So what do you think? Was I wrong to fight fire with fish, or did Linda get what she deserved? Should neighbors have the right to push back against HOA bullies, even if it means causing a stink, literally? And where's the line between revenge and justice? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if your team's Surströmming, and subscribe for more stories where the underdog bites back.